All right, how we doing? Today we're going to talk about attic access, the real truth. You'd be surprised with that little attic access that you have in your closet or your pull down or your hallway, um, whole house fan, what it can be doing to your home. It could actually increase your energy consumption, especially during cold climates, 30%. It can cause water leaks. Yeah, an access can cause water leaks. It can cause mold. It can cause all kind of problems. So we're gonna get right into it. And I do have a little small slide presentation. And so let's get into it. So, the attic access, the real truth. All right. So I'm sure you've seen these before. Now, everyone's are a little bit different. Like this one could be in a bedroom or in a garage. It's more of an issue in a heated area. So sometimes the garage ones aren't as important because your garage isn't heated. Now, if your garage is heated, then we're going to have to talk about it. Okay. We're going to talk about what these access panels cause to homes. We're going to also talk how to correct them and maybe even save a ton of money on your energy and not have mold issues, ice dams, and things like that. Sometimes these attic accesses are in closets, okay? Sometimes they're drywall and they're painted shut, okay? And if they're painted shut, chances are they're sealed pretty shut, so I'm not sure those are causing a problem. People open these up and, we put our things upstairs, right? We store things in our attics, and sometimes the insulation falls on top of us. Now, so people are always worried about the insulation on top of this panel or on top of the stairs. Well, that's called thermal bridging. In other words, yes, we could increase the R value. That's not necessarily causing the big problems. It does cause heat loss. It's the edge here, the perimeter that you think is sealed, and we're going to talk about that. So, let me make these pictures a little bit bigger here. And so, sometimes access panels are for plumbing inside walls. You know what? I'm not worried about these, except what I am worried about is this stack, okay, that goes up to the ceiling and there's a hole into the attic. So I'm worried about this stack being sealed with insulation in the attic. And, so this is as important, but what's important is this pipe. So this would be like an access panel for a plumbing. And we're pretty much used to these pull downs. Okay, we open them up, there's nothing here, and that's a problem. So these are the biggest heat losers of the home. Think about this hot air. This is a garage one. Remember, we talked about, hey, not so important in the garage. We're going to talk about how to fix this problem, especially if you've got one of these in your home, a pull down or an attic access. Some people have built in shelving that comes right out, don't even know about it. This should be insulated and sealed. Some of our 1950s and 60s homes with their cathedral, bungalow attics, we have these doors. This isn't going to work. I mean, some of these houses got 4 or 5 of these things. Big problem, okay? This is causing ice problems. Then you got some homes with these built-in cabinets. I mean, they look nice, but what's on the other side of them? That's right, the unconditioned attic space. So this is a huge problem. This can cause gutters to fall down every single year from ice dams. So, something like this, you got to go behind them and build a wall, and, and you need to insulate that. Now, this looks like it works, but it does. Well, actually, this one does. Here you can see they insulated. This is called thermal bridging, and this is thermal bypass, and this is what we're going to be talking about. This one here is sealed, so when you close it, there's no possible way that air can get into the attic space. Now, when you see something like this means that, we need to, this is also an attic access, and we're going to talk about weather stripping this a little bit. And this is mold. And why is it mold? Because there's no insulation. Mold will grow and condensate. First of all, moisture will condensate on cold surfaces. So there's no insulation on here, and that would be, thermal bypass, thermal bridging. And then they got a humidifier or a moisture generator or a sub pump that isn't sealed. or a ventless, heater, ventless fireplace, or you just cook every day. Boiling water can do it, but you have to boil a lot of water. And so you've got mold growing here. And we have a lot of videos on mold, and I have a lot of videos on condensation and things like that on my site. So check it out. So this one here is a shelf, but guess what? This thing comes out. And guess what? It opens, and look, hot air goes into these spaces, and we're going to talk about how this happens. And you don't want this. You don't want to have a gap or a space that isn't sealed or weather stripped or insulated, because hot air is going to go in there. Some people have third floors in these older homes, okay, and they have a door, and it's an attic. And they wonder why their heat bill's so high. Because a lot of these older homes, first of all, don't have cold air returns on the second floor. So you've got just positive pressure blowing away. And if this door isn't sealed with weather stripping, all the way around, and some people insulate those doors, the hot air is going right up those steps into the third floor and melting the snow and causing ice. Now here's one where they did have some weather stripping, but it's kind of falling apart. And so this causes heat loss. Plus here you can see how they could maybe do some repairs up in the attic. Okay, now if you use a thermal camera, you can see, like here, this one here's got some heat loss right here. See it? See the difference in color? That's thermal camera. These are all attic access panels. This one's in the summer. You see how hot that is up, and it's the opposite, right? In summer it's hot. And it's the same thing for the air conditioning, okay? This was the one we showed you earlier, okay? So what happens is, if you've got thermal bypass, okay, and you don't have your attic access panels or exhaust fans, we're going to hit some of those in a minute, and other types of conditions that cause these problems. Not only you're going to get heat loss, but when you get heat loss, you get uneven snow melt, and look what happens then. Ice dams. And here's your problem. Now, this is a thermal image of an ice dam, and here's a little ice dam. That's all you see, right? What you don't see is this ice underneath. It's covered with snow, and then when this melts up here, it goes underneath the shingles. And guess what? You got to call an insurance company, right? The ceiling's falling down. My ceiling's getting wet. And another problem? You're going to call the roofer, and the roofer's going to say, "Oh, you got to put flashing up. Well, we got to replace the roof. We got to put in, we got to put an ice barrier in," and they kit you up for thousands and thousands of dollars, where that's not the problem. 9 out of 10 roof leaks, if they happen in the winter, it's not the roof, okay? It's ice, okay, or it's heat loss. And sometimes it doesn't even leak or have ice. The condensation in the attic drips down, and the heat ducts drip. And here there's no even roof leak. It's the heat ducts that are dripping in the attic because they're up there. They shouldn't be up there anyways. You should not put ductwork in a non-conditioned space. So now you're getting condensation on your ducts, and they're dripping down your ceiling. You think you have a roof leak. Don't ever call a roofer right away. Figure it out. Sit down and say, well, when did it leak? In the winter? Does it leak in the summer? Now, if it leaks in the summer, fall, you get the ice, then we got a roof leak. We got a flashing leak. Something's going on. Or sometimes it's not even flashing, it's the brick. And I have videos on that. Oh, by the way, we do provide a service, for people out of state, a consulting services. Just Google, call Marko with a question, and usually we could solve your problem, your house problem, odor, ice, whatever it is, 15, 20 minutes, and sometimes we'll ask you to send us some information like photos or something. And if you're in town, hey, I've been doing this for 33 years, 18,000 homes, just give us a call. Now we have these ducts in the attic, or we have or we have attic access panels that are leaking air. So what happens? We got to resort to this because we have ice, and now we're going to pay additional electrical for these cords, to melt the ice and snow. And now we're using energy again. Those are infrared shots. Some people think like, hey, in the summer it's so hot upstairs. Instead of balancing the heating system, they put a hole in the ceiling and say, oh, we'll let the hot air rise to this roof, and it'll be better. Well, and then all of a sudden they get snow melts and ice and a whole other set of problems. So this is a bad idea. You don't want to put holes in your ceilings on the upper floors, because this is what happens. All right. Now, if you ever drive up and down the street, next winter, if you're in a cold weather climate zone, it's kind of hard to do this in areas that don't have snow. But this is great. You look at this roof and like, oh, what's going on with this roof? It looks so. Oh no, wait a minute. There's ice here. That means there's heat loss in here. That means that there's a parapet or something in here that's causing heat loss. That's causing money going, being wasted. Okay, on gas or electric to heat the home. This guy's got a real problem, right? It's like, wow, what's going on here? So, he's got major heat. Here's what happened here. I bet this guy's got a door that goes to the attic. I bet he's got no cold air returns on this level, and I bet that his cold air returns in his basement leak and they're not sealed. I'll show you that in a second. So negative pressure in your basement, positive pressure upstairs, second floor stairs door that has thermal bridging, thermal bypass, and is not weather sealed. That the snow melts. And I bet you what he's got here. I bet he's got insulation that was stuffed up in some of these sheetings years and years ago, and this is the only part that's left. So there's probably like insulation in the rafters, or he might have a poster on the wall, or he might have something nailed to the wall. But this guy's got major heat loss because his neighbor doesn't. Okay, why doesn't he have snow? So look at the roofs. You can always tell if you got made. This guy's heating bill is way high compared to this guy's. So his snow melts teach you a lot. Now we got these things called whole house fans. These are great. They work, but man, you better open up some windows on it. You better open up 5 windows. If not, you're going to blow out your water heater and could start a fire with your pilots. I've seen people start fires with these things because they cause if you don't open windows and you turn on one of these super exhaust whole house fans, you're in big trouble. You're going to suck out the pilots out of your water heater. You're not going to have any hot water. And if your hot water heater's on, you can suck the flame out. So you better have windows open. Now, in the wintertime, what are you going to do with this thing? This is like major heat loss. So you have to either build yourself some type of system that you could stick to this on the inside, or build a box. A lot of times, I'm not sure I have a box picture, but you put a box up in the attic on a hinge and have it all insulated and weather strip the box. Okay, I mean, think about it. You open this up, there's your fan. It's just a piece of metal to your attic. And if you don't have any cold air returns, which a lot of older homes don't on a second floor, or they don't even work that good in most homes, because the cold air returns leak in the basement. Nobody ever seals those. They always seal the supplies, and you don't want negative pressure in the basement. So here's your fan looking down. What do you think? Where's the air? It's coming through here, man. These are all little teeny holes. You got to build a box for this thing, all right? And you got to, or get rid of it, okay? And there's all types of one. Now, bathroom fans, same thing. Some of these bathroom fans vent into the attic, okay? Or the vents aren't insulated, so, or they got holes, so now you're blowing hot air right into the attic. So make sure that all your exhaust fans, especially in the bathrooms, go outside. Now here's a guy who thought he was smart. He's got a bathroom exhaust fan, and he says, oh, I'll insulate it because it probably leaked. And he says, I'll just dump it into this pan, and the water will sit in here and condensate. This is pretty dumb. Okay, I mean, I think it's kind of cool contraption. I mean, it's one of those what is this games, But don't make stuff up, man. Don't build a better mousetrap. Make sure that your exhaust fans also. These fans have dampers in them too, so always check your fans when you buy them, and see if there's dampers in them. Here's another one. Go into the attic. Or how about dryer vents? You can't have dryer vents venting into garages, crawl spaces, and attics. Big problem, okay? This one, look at the lint here for the dryer vent. I mean, come on. This by the way, this causes mold in your attic. And here's one way you could fix a hole. If you have a hole going through your ceiling, that's a thermal bypass. It's a hole. Duct tape works. It looks like hell, but yeah, that probably works, okay? I mean, maybe do something better than that. So now let's add one more problem to this whole mess. Let's add in a ventless heater. Ventless heaters and ventless appliances produce two big things. One, vapor, water, grains of moisture floating around in the air, okay, and carbon dioxide, which is a bad thing too. I've got videos where carbon dioxide can cause carbon monoxide in enclosed, small, confined spaces with gas-fired systems. But anyways, I don't like these things, okay? I mean, they should be vented, and a lot of people are going to argue. I have videos on YouTube where I get hate mail. They tell me, I've had a ventless heater and no problems, while they're coughing, So you need to vent appliances, especially, now let's say they are really good appliances and they got pure combustion. Now you're gambling that you have pure combustion. I still recommend venting them. Another moisture generator would be these guys, okay? Everybody thinks they need one of these. Most houses don't need one of these. What you need is a dehumidifier in your basement, not a humidifier. Then they turn these things on and leave them on all winter long, and they wonder why they got mold in the attic. That's right. This thing in the basement causes mold in the attic 90% of the time. How about these guys, the dryers with the little vents here where they blow lint into the house? Or they get those contraptions that put them in the water. You don't want that. You want the dryer vent to go outside, okay, not inside. And this is what happens. So now you have an attic access that isn't weather stripped. You've got a moisture situation, a generator such as a dryer that's leaking, or a dryer vent with a hole in it, or a sub pump that doesn't have a 100% lid, or a crawl space that gets wet, or a ventless heater, okay, or you happen to have 1,000 plants in your house, or you cook pasta all day long, whatever. That humidity, that's moisture, grains of moisture, and then you throw in that cold air return that isn't sealed. I'll show you a couple shots of that, and all of a sudden, boom, mold in the attic. Mold in the attic. There you go. Mold in the attic. And in the wintertime, this is what happens. If it's in the winter, this is how you get the mold. In the wintertime, there's snow on the north side of the roof. And the north side's like 5-10 degrees colder because the sun doesn't hit that side, right? Or it's tree shaded. And now the humidifier's on, and you got a positive pressure on the second floor. Remember, we said no cold air, returns, and then so we're going to talk about how to fix that at the end, all right? And then you got the humidifier on the furnace because you left it on. Oh, man, unplug that thing, and boom, condensation. It's so cold that it forms ice, and then this ice turns to water, and boom, it gets sucked into the wood. And then guess what? Cladosporium. Cladosporium is a type of mold that really likes attics because of the moisture content of the wood and the condition it's in. Molds are saprophytic, so like slime molds, like your penicillins and your aspergilluses and your stachybotrices and ganodermas, they like it really wet, like cardboard in the basement on a wet floor, But this is an attic. This is different. So this would be like cladosporium if you were to test it. By the way, I have videos on mold testing. I think if you smell mold, you got mold. You pretty much got mold. Don't waste your money on mold testing. Mold testing is way overrated. All right, here we go. So here we're in the basement now. This is part of this whole big picture here, man. And so here's your cold air return, and nobody seals. Oh, there's a hole going through there. So what do you think? This cold air return is sucking your basement. Then you close the door upstairs, and your basement's like getting sucked. It's like a vacuum. And so now it's sucking moisture from, let's say, your sub pump, because it's sealed. This is not sealed, or your crawl space, or through cracks in the floor, okay? Well, if it's sucking in your basement, it's surely blowing upstairs, and your cold air returns aren't working up there because they're leaking down here. And then if you got a hole, like a hole in your ceiling, okay, like a can recessed light can do it. This video pretty much is about access panels that aren't weather stripped can do it. Now it's going into the attic at like warp speed, right? And if you throw some moisture into it, now not only do you got snow melts, you got ice dams, you got mold, you got high energy. So that attic access is huge. The pull down is huge. The exhaust fan is huge, and then we throw in all these things we're talking about, and it just augments it. Now this is amazing. These old homes, the cold air returns aren't connected. That's even worse. So now your basement's sucking. It's like a straw sucking the basement. You need to connect your cold air returns. You need to seal the basement cold air returns. I have videos on this stuff also on YouTube. Check it out. You don't want to. These videos I show you, like this video here we're doing today, this can cost you 30 to 40% added energy usage in your winter months. I mean, that's huge. And what is it going to cost you to fix? Not a whole lot. Don't call the roofer, don't call the waterproofer, don't call the insulation guy, don't call any of those guys. You could fix half the stuff with the roll of duct tape and the $20 worth of weather stripping. Okay, you can duct tape the ducts in the basement, they're not sealed, okay? Or you can have this, and these are dangerous, man. These pull down gutters. So now, if you don't get leaks sitting like this, won't leak because the overhang's like a 3-footer or 2-footer. But the gutter's going to fall down on this, and the shingles are going to get damaged, okay? So, you know, your attic access panels, you want to make sure they're insulated. Now, if you buy these new contraptions, now here's the fan. This is kind of, you would think, I thought this was a problem until I went up to the attic. Well, look, it's sealed when I open it up. And then they have these new contraption fans that open up, they're mechanical. Kind of cool, I bet it's expensive. Okay, so they have a whole house fan now that's designed to have to be sealed, insulated, and weather stripped, and also not permit heat loss to the unconditioned attic space. And it only this thing is mechanical. It opens up, all right. And then they put this on over the winter. Okay, there it is, the fan when it's open. Here's your door. I like this. These people were smart. They insulated the door to the attic or third floor, and they put up the weather. This is rubber. This is a little more expensive weather stripping here. And look at that. No more heat loss. All right. They're the ones that got the snow on the roof. Okay. Some people. Now that was the vent that we saw earlier with that contraption that they put in the roof. Here's another door. You got a door going to an attic, and you know you want to weather strip it. See, I'm showing my fingers where you want to weather strip. And right here is where you want to weather strip. Right here along this edge. There's plenty of room there for weather stripping. Okay. And you can buy these bags. This is I'm not sure where this one came from, but there's a lot of products that sell pull down insulation boxes or pull down insulation styrofoam or zipper bags. So so this is a little schematic. So, you know, if you don't have weather stripping here and this box isn't sealed, then hot air is going to come up through here. So you want to definitely, for sure, seal, insulate, and weather strip your pull down attic accesses, and also that attic access that you happen to have in the closet. You want to do the same. Okay, you can do your own thing. Like here's a gasket right here, and here's the insulation up top. You know, if you don't have this gasket here, hot air is going to rise right up in the attic, and you're going to melt the snow. Now these are cool, a little more expensive, and these are zipper bags. I call them zipper bags. Kind of cool, you know. And so this thing unzips. It zips and opens up, and you go in and zip it back up. So it's insulated and weather sealed. All right, and then you could make your own. Okay, here's a guy that bought a panel and decided to make his own. Okay, and this weather stripping, it comes in a roll. You've seen those round big rolls. They're like, I don't know, 2 feet in diameter. These little pieces, they fit right up into the attic access. See right here? And this is where we're putting it down. This is where you want to put it in your attic access. And that's going to save you a ton. That little bit's going to save you a lot. So you don't want your roof to look like this, the uneven snow melts, all right? So if you don't want your roof to have uneven snow melts, and you don't want ice dams, and you don't want leaks, and you don't want mold in your attic, you want to make sure you weather seal. Oh, and you don't want it. This is another one. This basement here, this is a cold air return register. You don't want this. You can't have your basement going negative, because if it's going negative, the upstairs is going positive. This is the cold air return. Seal the joints, like these joints here, the up and ups. 1 roll of tape, 2 rolls of furnace tape can handle it. Open a basement supply register to positively pressurize your basement. Maybe change that door to the basement to a louver door, okay? All that's going to help, you know, because you want to equalize the pressure in your house, and you want to seal the holes, okay? Seal the holes. I have more videos out there on this. And so you might want to check some of my other videos out. I have videos on mold and videos on negative pressure, videos on HVAC. If you want, I'll provide some links where you could maybe order these things for your attic access, you know, for the pull downs. I could probably put some links down there for that, and I'll add a couple other links below. So check it out. Hey, I wouldn't mind if you subscribe. You know, if you can share, if you know somebody, you know, that has snow that's not melting unevenly, you know, or have ice problems, you know, send them this video, and then they could watch my other videos. I probably have 300 or 400 videos on YouTube. So hey, thanks for coming on today. Rate, subscribe, and keep watching the videos.